this is Angie at Stampin' with Amore, and I have another box in my holiday series to share. This box actually was a request from a friend who makes mini bundt cakes, and she was looking for a box for those because she makes several at Christmas time to give to friends and family, which I also do make them for my friends. And now I have a box to put them in. So this paper is the Trim the Tree Specialty Designer Series paper, and this is the one I brag about constantly about being perfect for boxes, and you don't have to mat it or anything else, so it makes it quick and easy. And this one I did stamp, and I'm going to pull this off here for you to see the inside. So it lifts up like that, and look at the little mini bundt cake. I didn't make this one, but I will at Christmas time make my own. This one I got at my local grocery store, and this paper is a paper I got at my local Michael's store, and it is a treat liner, and it feels like parchment paper, but it's decorated with Christmas colors. It has these two different patterns. So I think I got this last year actually, but I'm sure they have it again. And you always want to line your box with either parchment paper or wrap it in one of the Stampin' Up! Makes a food safe cellophane bag. You can wrap it in and tie a bow around, or always put something in, because if you cook with butter or any kind of oil or anything greasy, it's going to bleed onto your box, and you don't want to mess up your box. So this is what I'm sharing with you today. So let's get started. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a template in, because there is one little part that may get a little confusing. You are going to need a piece of 8 by 4.5 cardstock, and then you're going to need another piece 8.5. So on this 8 by 4.5, we are going to score at 1 inch, 3.5, and 7, and then you're going to turn it and score it at 1 and 4. This is a simple part. Okay, this one we are going to use an 8.5 by 6, and you're going to score it first at 2.5 and at 6, and then you will turn it and score it at 3.5. So now you have a 3.5 inch square here, and this is a 2.5 inch square. So where this 2.5 inch square is, we are going to score again only to this first score mark. And I'm going to show you how to do this all. I just wanted to show you on paper. We are going to score 2 inches here and then 6.5 here. So it's going to give us a 1/2 inch flap on each side. So let's go ahead and get started and do that. And this is the Designer Series paper I'm using. I am going to stamp in each one of these little ovals. So, and this paper is double-sided, and it comes in several different patterns in Christmas colors, trees, and I'm going to just grab a little thing to show you some of the patterns. There's this green, and it's got little stars. It's got this little scallop and Christmas trees. This paper is the perfect paper, and I've said it several times, for making boxes. It's super thick. It's got little snowflakes, little polka dots. It's just amazing. I can't talk enough about it. So let's go ahead and start on this larger piece first. So this is the 8.5 inch piece by 6, and this is the piece that we're going to be cutting but scoring the extra lines on. So the first score we're going to make is going to be 2.5, and then we're going to make one at 6. And then we are going to turn it, and we're going to score it at 3.5. So here's that part I was talking about. This is the 3 inch square here, and this is the 2.5. So we are going to bring this up, and we are going to line it up to the 2 inch mark, and we are going to score, but we're only scoring to the first score mark, which it will be if you have this trimmer, it'll be at the 2.5 inch mark. And then we're going to move it over and score it at 6.5. Just to that first score mark. So that is it. So let's go ahead and score the next piece. This piece will be at 1 inch, 3.5, and at 7. And then we'll turn it and we'll score it at 1/2, and then at 4. All right, that's all our scoring. So I'm going to go ahead and sharpen all these score marks because we definitely need to do with this box because it is such an awesome thickness. Start cutting. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to cut, this is the larger piece that has the extra score mark. So we are going to cut this square out right here up to that first score mark. And we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Now we're going to free up our flaps, so we're going to come back and we're just going to clip to that next score mark. So this is where we did the extra scoring. It creates these little flaps. Okay, for on this piece, we are going to cut out all 4 corners here. This corner, this one, and that one. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, and then the next thing we'll do is we're going to cut each one of these to the first score mark. And we are going to cut in V's on all of these so it will fold properly. Like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and stamp these. And I'm using the Holiday Home, and this is the sentiment from for the tag, and it says from our home to yours at Christmas time. So I'm using 2 stamp sets, this Holiday Home, and then the other one that I'm using is this Project Life Holiday Cheer. And I'm using the tree, the holiday cheer, and the little snowflake. So I'm going to grab some cherry cobbler. And I am going to stamp the holiday cheer. And I'm stamping right inside the little ovals. And I'm just stamping randomly. Okay, so then I'm going to take the mossy meadow and the little Christmas tree, and I am going to stamp that also. And I'm just filling in the other spots. Okay, so that's all the stamping that we're going to do on the box. So you'll have both pieces like this. Now to put this together, you are going to use this top part. We are going to put sticky strip on this side, which is, this is the 3.5 inch square, this is the 2.5. So you want to put the sticky strip next to the 2.5 inch square. So let's go ahead and do that. And I think I'll put 2 pieces on here to make sure. I always like to make sure it's not going to fall apart. Okay, so now we'll take that backing off, and we are going to line up this 3.5 square next to the 2.5. So we're going to line up our score marks right up to the edge, and you're going to just seal it down. So our box is coming along now, and I do want to cut into this a little bit so we can fold these up better. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to put sticky strip, and we are going to put it on this side and this side, here and here, and these are the 2.5 inch squares that we're putting the sticky strip on. So let me go ahead and do that. Let's take off 2 at a time and seal up our box. So you are going to turn it, and you are going to line up your edges here. That's one side. And then we'll take the backing off of these other two, and we will seal that. Line these up. And basically, that is your box. Now, one other thing, I want to cut into these to make it close easier. I'm going to grab a little piece of that lining, and you don't need a whole bunch. You just need a little piece. I'm just going to cut some off, just so it lines the sides and the bottom. And I have 2 pieces there. We will put that inside our box. Put your bundt cake inside, and you will close it up like so. So let's go ahead and make our tag. I'm using the note tag punch for this, some crumb cake, and I'm going to punch 2 crumb cakes. I don't think that's big enough. Let me grab another. And then 1 piece of cherry cobbler. And I'm just wanted to use some cherry cobbler to kind of put a little bit on the back. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this down the center, and I'm going to back it. To give it a little bit of color there. I like to trim the bottom off so it's even. And then I'm going to grab the sentiment from our home to yours at Christmas time. Use some mossy meadow. And I'm going to stamp that diagonally. And then I'm going to grab some more cherry cobbler and use our little snowflake. And then let me grab my rhinestones, and I'll put a couple rhinestones on here. One for that snowflake. And we will put this on the back. Actually, this will be the front. Grab my 1/8 inch hole punch and punch a hole right in the center. And I'll grab a piece of cherry cobbler twine. This is our baker's twine. String that through. And then I'm going to grab some of our this is the cherry cobbler sheer linen ribbon, and I'm going to tie a bow with this. Let me see how long this is so I can tell you. It is like, it's like actually 26 inches. You probably don't need all that, but I always make it a little bit bigger so I have enough for my bow, and usually I just do it right off the spool, but I already had this cut, so. And it makes a beautiful bow. This ribbon is super pretty. Well, I could do better on my bow this time, but let me see if I can get it just a hair better. And then I'll just trim a little bit off the end. And then grab our little tag. And we'll string this on here. And I actually just tied a bow with this because I really like the cherry cobbler. It's really cute. You can just tie a knot and then cut it short if you like. I'm just going to tie a little bow. Okay, so there you have it. That is it. And when you have your bundt cake in it, the top stays on a whole lot better. Here's the other one that has the little bundt cake in it. So that's the project for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If you need any supplies, you could go to my blog at stampingwiththemore.com. I list all the supplies on there, and I usually post the video also. So if you enjoyed the video today, leave me a comment and give me a thumbs up. I'd really, really appreciate it. But that is it, everyone. I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you later. Bye.